Hello everyone. My name is Jacob Cardoso,
And I'm Harmanpreet Singh Sagar.
and today we're going to be walking you through the process of crafting an impactful portfolio with the GDSC. A portfolio is your chance to showcase some of your work and achievements that you're proud of. It's also a great way to stand out when applying for internships and other jobs, giving you the opportunity to highlight what isn't on your resume. So we just have the GDSC outreach team here. When it comes to creating your portfolio, the first decision you have to make is choosing whether you're going to program it yourself or follow a traditional template through a website builder. The decision is fully up to you regarding your preferences and how much time you're willing to spend on the portfolio. Going down the path of web development using languages like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript is going to be much more time consuming, but you can program the layout and design however you like without any restrictions. Using a website builder and template, on the other hand, is great if you don't have much web development experience, or you just want something you can make and put together quickly while still looking professional. Some website builders that we really recommend are Wix, Weebly, and Squarespace. As soon as you've decided on programming your website or using a template, the next step you should take is planning. Ask yourself the question, what do I want to highlight? The answer to this will vary depending on your stream/program and to what you're applying for. For example, research, co-op, etc. Based on these factors, you should choose to highlight and emphasize some subjects more than others. As an example, software engineers might focus their portfolio on their side projects and technical skills, whereas BTech and iBiomed students would likely prioritize showing the relevant coursework and academic achievements. Additionally, students who are applying to research positions might want to make their academics and previous grades the highlight of their portfolio instead of their side projects. Take your time at this stage and do your research to find out what you'd really like to focus your portfolio on.
So after you have planned out what you're really trying to display with your portfolio, you should begin drafting up an About Me section to have near the top or front of your site. The importance of this section cannot be understated. This is where you talk about yourself and who you are. Share the program you're in, your goals, passions, and things you wish to achieve. The About Me section is your chance to add some personality and flair to your portfolio, so make it personal. A well-written About Me section is an easy way to help you stand out in your job applications and show employers a bit about yourself. If you'd like, you can also include a well-taken and professional photo to include in this section. An often overlooked and forgotten part of a portfolio is including your contact information and relevant social media. In order to allow recruiters and potential employers to easily contact you while looking at your portfolio site, you should aim to have your contact information readily available at near the top of your site or pinned somewhere at all times. This just makes it easier for everyone and eliminates the possibility of someone not contacting you if they were interested in doing so. Make sure to also include social media pages that show off your work or your achievements while still being professional. Some websites like this are LinkedIn, GitHub, and Major League Hacking. Including these gives you the chance to connect all your different profiles together and adds another layer of completeness to your portfolio.
Moving on to the heart and soul of your portfolio, the showcasing your work section. As previously mentioned, what you choose to show here is entirely stream/program and goal dependent. Some common things to display here are your side projects, coursework, or even what you've made at your previous jobs. Regardless of if you're searching for internships, research positions, or overall jobs in tech, this is the main focus of your portfolio, so take the time to come up with an understandable and creative format. For each entry in the portfolio, provide a description letting viewers know a bit about what you made and how you did so. Use bolding, underlines, or other elements to make it evident what technology, tools, and languages you use to make your project. For programming projects, be sure to add links that are readily available that lead to the actual code and possibly even a demo of your work. Including what you use to make your project alongside having the code for it public gives another level of credibility to your work and allows potential employers to get an idea of your skill set. Using visual aids and graphics is an excellent way to help this section of your portfolio stand out from the rest and enhance the presentation of each project. We know it can be pretty difficult to get an idea of how you can organize your projects and still feature all of the aforementioned details, but we'd like to show you two unique examples of this section that do a great job. This first portfolio is highlighting a programming project someone created that is a color theme for several code editors. They include a visual of their actual work, along with its name, a brief description of what they used to make it, and quick access to the actual code and even a download page using small icons near the bottom. This example highlights some of the benefits of going down the web development path for creating your site, as this level of customizability and creativity can only really be achieved by doing so. We also just wanted to point out that a nice consistent color scheme is also used here.
Next example is a great one for people who are using website builders to make their portfolio. So this person went with a simple yet effective grid-based layout with distinct entries separated by different tiles or icons. This person also does a great job by using lots of color alongside a description and a demo if you hover over each entry with your mouse. For most people, we suggest something with a grid-based layout to show off your work, as it allows for a lot of flexibility as well as creativity. Using a grid also doesn't inhibit the type of work you choose to highlight, and it serves well for any stream or program, regardless of what you're highlighting in this section. Now, independent of your stream, your academic achievements can be recognized and understood by anyone. As previously mentioned, this might be the key focal point of your portfolio, and for others, it's another way to show off your accomplishments. Your GPA, individual course grades, and scholarships are a great way to highlight some of your academic strengths, and those should be listed over here as well. How you choose to display these achievements is entirely up to you. We recommend doing so in a similar way to how you presented your projects and other work in order to stay consistent with your theme and design of your website.
Other than showing off your projects or academic achievements, something you might wish to include in your portfolio is a work experience section. This is relevant to any stream or program, so the choice to include this is highly dependent on your needs. If you don't have much other content to display, a work experience section can make up for that. This should be formatted in reverse chronological order, just like a resume. And although your resume should include work experience, this is an opportunity to provide further detail about each entry, as well as include previous experience you didn't feature on there. Now, on top of having an About Me section, there's actually another way you can show off some of your personality and interests, and that's through highlighting your extracurricular activities. Showing your involvement in extracurriculars that are job relevant is something that can even further diversify your job applications and put you ahead of some of your competitors. These activities can be used to highlight various skills that employers seek out, including communication, leadership, collaboration, and even time management. While it's important to really prioritize job-relevant extracurriculars, you can still include entries that highlight your interests and personality to really make your portfolio your own. Clubs, teams, volunteer work, and hackathons are actually great examples of extracurriculars that you should include in your portfolio.
Now let's expand a bit about hackathons. Hackathons are a great way to gain some experience in developing projects that you can include in your portfolio. Let us begin by finding out what they are. If you haven't attended a hackathon or don't know what it is, let me tell you some things about it. So hackathon is basically a workshop where groups of people are brought together, often in teams of 2 to 5 individuals. You can basically consider them to be weekend-long technology festivals. And in that festival, you get to meet so many like-minded people and learn to create cool technologies while learning new things. You do not need to know how to code. If you're attending a CAD-based hackathon, you do not need to know how to CAD. There are workshops and people there to help you learn all that so that you can still successfully create something that you are proud of. Okay, so now that we know what hackathons are, why should you participate in them? Well, there are a multitude of reasons as to why you should participate in them. Firstly, you get to meet a lot of new people and you have a lot of fun. In my opinion, that's the best part of hackathons. Next, you get to learn so many different technologies that help you build skills in areas which you may not have otherwise been exposed to. You can network with future employers, and this is a big one. I know so many of her years that attended such hackathons and were able to create good connections with people from companies, and which they were then able to use those connections in order to get a co-op or a job. Whenever I've met someone senior to me, they've expressed the importance of networking, and hackathons are a great place to do so. Finally, it's a great way to build a project that you are proud of and something that you can include in your portfolio. If you have never built personal projects, they're a great place to provide you with the knowledge and resources for you to start and create one. If you have already built some, it will give you the opportunity to create something that you always thought was too complicated for you to build.
Now we'll discuss Major League Hacking. Major League Hacking, or MLH for short, is an organization that hosts hackathons all around the world. Many of those hackathons are online and global, so anyone can participate in them. MLH has hosted some great hackathons such as Hack the Six, Hack the North, and Global Hack Week. Hack the Six is a major hackathon held in Toronto every summer. It attracts a lot of students and enthusiasts from all around the world and is a great way to get into programming, technology, and more. I've personally competed in Hack the Six and had a great experience. Hack the North is a hackathon hosted by the University of Waterloo, and it's similar to McMaster's very own Delta Hacks. Similarly, MLH also hosts a Global Hack Week during the months of September through December, and sometimes even January and February. It's hosted online and is a week of fun and challenging activities that participants can take part in. Also, shout out to the GDSC's very own Solution Incubator, which is a 9-week-long challenge to develop something based on a prompt provided when you enter the event. Finally, we'd like to talk to you about some of the key hackathons that are coming up over the summer and near the beginning of the new school year. Firstly, there's Chat Hacks, which is online and is from April 28th to the 30th. Next, we have Selfie Hacks, which is also online and is from July 15th to 17th. And after that comes probably one of the biggest hackathons, Hack the Six, which is both in person and online from August 19th to the 21st. I really suggest that if you can, attend this one in person because you'll have a lot of fun doing so and you'll have a great chance to meet a lot of cool people. And finally, we have Global Hack Week, which is in September, and this is hosted online from the 10th to the 17th. There's many hackathons that we missed and not all of them may appeal to you. So if you're interested in other areas like CAD, then you should look to participate in CAD designations. If you're passionate about UI and UX, look to find some hackathons that have a key focus on UI and UX challenges. Finally, if you're trying to learn about AI or machine learning, look for hackathons that will have the resources for you to learn a lot more about these fields. We recommend visiting the Major League Hacking website for all your hackathon needs.
We understand it can be difficult to come up with a format and design for your portfolio without any inspiration. So that's why we'd like to walk you through a couple of portfolios that we think are really well made to give you some ideas for your own.
So first off, we have Brittany's portfolio here. And the first thing we like about Brittany's portfolio is, for one, a very nice color scheme. And on top of that, we have her name here, a very small about me section about herself. And immediately we're able to check out some of her work. On top of that, like we previously mentioned, she does have a where I've worked / work experience section. And for somebody who's of upper levels of employment, meaning past their internship in post-grad or post-secondary, this is something really good for her, as she can state all the different companies she's worked at, along with what she did, what she worked on, and show off some of her skills. And then finally, like we said, the real heart and soul of the portfolio, which is your actual projects. So here we have the previously mentioned theme that she made. And again, we'd like to point out the little small details that really add up to make this portfolio a really perfect package. She talks about what she uses, what technology she uses, as well as giving us the links and possibly even a demo to her work. And on top of her other, like she says, noteworthy projects, she even goes and gives other sections to some of her smaller work that she hasn't really worked on. And then finally, like we also said, she has a contact me page, which is, again, something extremely important. While we're not the biggest fan that this isn't at the top of her website or readily available, it is somewhere near the bottom. And due to her website being a single page and small, this is something that works really well.
Okay, so next we have Jack's website. He's, as you can see, a front-end developer, WordPress expert. So again, this website would be one of those websites that are like coded using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and the other programming languages. Because if you move your mouse around in the beginning, you can see those different animations and customizations that are visible, which is not possible if you're using a website builder such as Wix or WordPress. Then immediately he goes into his portfolio to showcase the different projects he's worked on. And in this case, he uses somewhat of a grid-like structure to display his projects. And these then brighten up and allow you to click them and visit them to expand more about what these projects are, what he did in those projects. If we scroll even more down, then he has the About Me section. Personally, we would have liked an About Me section in the beginning of the website, so that before employers go directly into your projects, they get to know a little bit more about you. But nonetheless, it's a really great section which he has customized to showcase his web development skills as well.
Yeah.
He also has a blog in it, which I think it's a great idea to include if you do have the time. Go ahead, Jacob.
Yeah, I just wanted to add the blog's actually a really good feature, and it's something that we didn't choose to highlight in our presentation because there's really so much you can do with your portfolio, and you can be creative and show off things you like. He clearly has a passion for writing or wanted to show off some of his technological knowledge, so we chose to write a blog and add plenty of articles that you can see here. And this is kind of your area and where you can really be creative, like we said before, to come up with something. And if you choose, include something about you. And for us, like we said, maybe instead of having a blog, this is where you could put your extracurriculars to add that bit of extra personality like Jack does here. So we want to move on to another.
Go back?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, sorry.
One thing I would like to highlight is that if you notice on the left sidebar of his, he has his contact links that like visible right there. His LinkedIn, GitHub, and I can't read what that is. YouTube link over there. So that's again a great way for employers to get in touch with him. And since he has readily visible over there, it's highly likely that he might get some clicks and might form some connections just through his website.
Yeah, like we said, it's pinned, so he'll really never miss the opportunity. If an employer, recruiter, interviewer, anybody really, they'll always have access to his socials and his contact information, which makes it great. And then moving on, we want to move on and show off another definitely program portfolio, and eventually we'll get into some of the other ones that are used templates, but for now we'll just kind of cover these ones. So as you can see, this one is a lot simpler than the other ones, and it's actually just a single page. So here, Ian chooses to go with a simple welcome, and then again, an about me right near the top, showing off who he is, where he's from, and then again, some of his skills as a front-end developer. He keeps his project simple, but again, unique, using just a nice list-based layout, which again, can be something you can base yourself off as well, kind of similar to a resume. This is something that we really recommend for people who don't have a lot of time working on their portfolio, because you can get a nice one-page portfolio out in honestly a couple of hours or a weekend. And again, we just want to mention all of the links are there. All his social media stuff is pinned, so he'll never miss an opportunity to get contacted.
I would like to add, like, if you notice this time in his contact, he has also included like a Gmail option of it. So like that's, I think, something which many people forget to add in their portfolio. They usually include their LinkedIn, their GitHub, but they never have like they sometimes forget to miss like an access to an email which people can directly get in contact with, so that they don't have to go through the various social media sites. So that's actually a great way to get in contact. Yeah.
And something as well is just the color scheme is obviously consistent. It looks well, and the website is very professional despite being so simple. And we just like to show you some of these different options because they don't have to be as complex as Jack's with all these crazy designs. If you'd like, you can make something simple, but yet super effective.
Now we have Matt's website. He's front-end developer, and then because of his UI UX, he starts off with with a simple, clean, white background. I'm believing this is going to be one page. And if we scroll down, it's he uses a consistent color scheme throughout. He's got his skills there, what all languages he used, the apps that he's familiar with. He's got an about me section up there, which is great. And then he goes into his project, and this is actually the tile-based format that we showed in our presentation before. And if you hover over it, you see some of the descriptions of those projects, which is a great way to tell the employers a brief description of what that project was and how you worked on it, or like what that company did. And then because sorry, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to add, like Harman said, the grid-based layout is something that's really done well here. And on top of the website using the grid-based layout, we're not exactly sure if he programmed this himself, but realistically, this is a website that can be made using any template or any website builder, as it's a nice, simple one-page layout. And he does have everything we mentioned. He highlights the skills, the tools he uses, descriptions for what he does, and as well as links and demos to all the stuff that he's made.
And I would also like to add, if you scroll up a bit, Jacob, thank you. There is his link to Dribble, and if you're a person really interested in UI UX or like designs or showing your art online, then I think Dribble is a great platform that you should consider exploring and adding to your portfolio as well. And he's got more. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Harman was just going to say, just like a lot of the other ones, when you want to show off your main projects, you can do so above, like with a grid-based system, anything you like, a list-based system. But when you do have other work or something that's also really important, but not really the focal point of your portfolio, you can highlight it down here. And this would also work for showing off some of your academic achievements. You could substitute this instead, put like your GPA in one tile, potentially a scholarship you received, some coursework or course achievements. And you can really customize any of these portfolios however you like. We just like to give you a lot of different options so you can kind of get some inspiration.
And since he's worked with like so many different companies, so many different clients, he's also got a testimonials page, which obviously once you get more experience and you work with other people, it's a great thing to add, because that just speaks to your accomplishments, your skills, and how you do your work.
Yeah. We can just move on here to Daniel's portfolio. And again, he's actually someone who's in a different tech stream. He's a product designer, which is great. This website kind of shows off a lot of different, some of his different capabilities, as well as being able to show off that a portfolio isn't just for people in one stream, and it's really dependent on your needs. So as we get started, he just is very basic thing, is product designer. And if we scroll down, he's talking about how he works, his process, and really what he comes up with. And this is definitely a unique entry into all these different portfolios, because this is something that isn't really mainstream, I guess you could say, but it's still definitely creative. And if you're looking to show off some other work or be able to have a hiring page, this is kind of something that you could work into your portfolio while still showing off your achievements, skills, your work, etc. So as you can see, he has a starter project, which would obviously be his contact page. And as we scroll down, we can see his recent work. And this GIF feature is actually something that's featured on a lot of these different website builders. So again, he's using a grid-based system, which is definitely going to be something you'll see a lot here. But he chose to spice it up a little bit by creating his own custom-made GIFs. And you don't have to use GIFs and you don't have to make them custom-made, but it's definitely something that it takes a little while to learn and pays off a lot, as you can see. It really makes his website stand out and gives a lot of different creativity that helps him kind of stand out from some of the other competitors or portfolios that we just looked at. And then on top of that, an article and then discover how he works. So a little bit of his contact page, or it looks like it's actually a newsletter to show off a little bit more of his work as well. Harman, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate that like the GIF feature, which he has used, is actually a great way to showcase your work, because that shows the employers and other clients how like your work functions. Especially if you're UI UX, or like if you're doing a CAD model have like a simulation or of sorts to
Mhm.
show how that model or how your work has come to life and like how it functions overall. And this is his about me section and his socials on the side. It would be, since he has a lot of projects and lot of his blogs and his design process up there, it's okay that he has added it down near the end of his website. But again, uh, adding this at the beginning initially would help employers, help clients know who you are. And yeah,
Yeah, like Harmon just covered, it's just a lot of personality that you can kind of put into the beginning. And while his portfolio is definitely creative, just having something like this near the top or even the second thing that you see is just a great way for people to understand a little bit about you and kind of trust and see what you're going to be working on and just learn a little bit more of about who you are. And then again, he has his contact page at the bottom, which is something that's definitely doable. He has it listed here, as well as something that you'll also see often on a lot of corporate websites is having all of their social media and contact at the bottom. And while this is definitely a good example of a portfolio / work website, this could definitely be done to be pinned somewhere on the side as well, or just having it at the bottom like he does. And then moving on, we just have a couple more we can look at.
so this is Max's website. It and he is a website builder, so he's got a basic small intro to begin with, and then he gets directly into some of his blog posts, I believe, which are over there. And these blog posts slash his, yeah, these blog posts, if you are hovering over them, again, you can see the descriptions, which is a great way to intrigue users and people that visit this website to learn more about the things he's writing about, he's creating. And yeah, then he's got different sections for his writing, why he doesn't write, and like different, again, different blogs. Then there
Yeah.
are some of his notes up there, and then there's an about me section on the edge.
Yeah,
So
this is
Jacob, would you
definitely
like?
Yeah, this is definitely a creative and kind of a unique portfolio because it's not something that is it's definitely tech based, but it's something that's kind of like a personal project that he uses to kind of show off some of his interests. And that's definitely something you can do as well. If you don't have a lot of work experience or you're really just trying to add a little bit more and show off some of the smaller things you worked on, you can make your portfolio really about you and make it somewhat like a blog, and just choose to highlight some of the important details that we covered earlier, as he still does. And like he says, he has he has his about me, and then also he has his work, his writing, everything else that he likes to do as well. And something else that's definitely a benefit of programming on website is he's able to change. He lets anybody who's on the website change the color scheme, which is a unique feature, but it's something that's kind of cool to have. And it's something that he kind of does to really show off that he is a very good web developer. And it's something that you can kind of think of too if you're creating your website, is if you're somebody who's in web development, programming, computer science, software engineering, or any of the really coding based streams, kind of doing something creative to help you stand out on top of all the other things that we mentioned by showing off your programming skills is definitely something that can help you stand out with employers if they do end up looking at your portfolio. And being able to include something like this can actually be mentioned sometimes in your interviews. And I've personally had friends who go for co-op interviews who do have portfolios. And sometimes when the interviewer does take the time to look at them, especially at some of the smaller companies, they like to see some of your work. They actually brought up some points about my friend's portfolio and they mentioned that they really liked some of the animations that he did using JavaScript. And of course, he was applying for a JavaScript position, but it definitely helped and it showed his employers that he actually knows what he's doing and he has a little bit of an expertise in the field, which is definitely something nice to have. I think we have a couple left that we can just show off as well.
So I don't know how to pronounce his name. I think it's Giorgio. I'm sorry if I butchered his name, but yeah, okay. This is Dr. Orestes Giorgio's website. He's like a researcher, inventor, and author. This goes away from all the tech websites, that tech portfolios that we've been showing. This is more so like he still works in tech, but it's more so about his publications, his research work and his speaking work. So if you scroll down, it has an about me section, and which he has actually a lot personalized about it if you read through it. And then he scrolls down. This is a good background, actually, good transition of his way to show that he likes math. Just a side note. But yeah, then he's got his sections for publications and speakings. They're linked to different pages, which is a great idea actually, because it segregates different aspects of your portfolio into different tasks. So let's say you have worked in like different, I don't know, if you have projects in web development, in back-end development, in UI, UX, and CAD, and you have multiple projects in them, you could choose to separate them into different web pages so that each web page is customized to a certain stream. So yeah, his publications are speaking, the different roles he's had, and then he's got some of the YouTube links, YouTube videos attached to his website as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, this is like a really, really, really good example for people who are kind of going down the research stream in really any of the tech fields, because like Harman mentioned, he obviously has the fun math background, but on top of that, he has his PhD, and he's someone who you can kind of envision as what would be a PhD student, or even a master's student who wants to show off some of their academic work, their achievements, and then even some of their projects. Like Harman said, he kind of separates it as publications, his speaking. So he shows off different aspects of his of himself and some of the things he's worked on, and then he kind of goes into his roles as well to show off his actual applications of what he's learned. So like we said, this is definitely a great example for those who are looking to focus primarily on research, and to kind of add a little bit more personality to really show like what he's capable of, what he's done, as well as his passion for what he works on, which is definitely something that I'd hope if you were in research, you'd be a big part of.
Okay, so this is more so an interactive resume. So this is definitely coded using different languages. And then this is, I think, Pascal Van Gumert. Again, sorry for butchering the name of the person. He's a full stack developer from Netherlands. And if you notice in his About Me, he's got some of his frameworks and main technologies that he's really, really familiar with bolded in his About Me section, which is a great way to highlight the key things, that key languages, key frameworks, or key applications that you are confident in or have an expertise in. Then he has some of his work experience listed out in chronological order, starting from the latest, going down to his oldest work experiences, a brief description for each one of them. So kind of like a resume format. He's also got his education there, all the different courses, all the different universities he's attended, the different courses he's taken. Then this is something which is actually a great way to showcase the different skills you have. So like he's got all his coding skills, coding languages, his frameworks, his tools, and then he's rated them on a scale of 1 to 5, which honestly gives employers and gives clients a great visual of your skills, of your abilities in a certain area. And then if we scroll down, then he goes into his projects, and his projects are more so like a slide based kind of project. So instead of like a tile based that we've seen, if you, I think you have to, yeah, there we go. You scroll across the screen to see the different projects, different things he's worked on. He's got a brief description of each one of them, the company that he worked on at, the different techniques, the tools he's used, and links to his GitHubs and the websites that he has created.
Yeah, I just wanted to add there, like we said, he does a really good job at showing off what he used to make his projects, which is relevant to any stream as well, because being able to quickly have people see what you made and then what you use for it, just again, highlights your skill set. And it's something that you can subtly do to really show people that you have skills, and especially really good and well-developed skills in some areas more than others. And I just wanted to add one thing. Listing all his different skills and things that his tools and frameworks use is definitely a really good thing. The only point that we can make about this that might be negative is if something is about a 3-star or below, you might not want to include it just because it can kind of, you're admitting that you're not the best at something. And although it's nice to show that you do have experience with it, you could be doing this in other ways by showing maybe that you have a project with it, whether it be a small or large project. It's just kind of something to not negatively affect your applications or kind of have employers see that and maybe look down upon you just because that you rated yourself so low. But other than that, we definitely think this is a really good portfolio, and everything else he did was really creative as well. And while it's definitely something that was made using like he obviously wrote this himself, you could definitely use a template for it. Although you might have a bit of problems using some of like the creative aspects, just like this weird and like unique slideshow for his projects. But if you'd like, there's always ways to insert code into pre-made websites. So if you are a web developer and you're on a bit of a time crunch or you're just looking to get something done quick, like we said before, you can still insert some code in there and make the website your own.
To add on to it, sorry.
Sorry.
If you do like the slideshow format and you do not know how to code all this, some website builders do actually have this format. For example, some of my friends use Wix, and they have this slideshow format to show some of their projects, which I think again is a great way to incorporate this format if you do not know how to code. So yeah, you can explore different website builders as well.
Lastly, we have Devin's portfolio here. So this is definitely another good one that we like. And he's a Squarespace developer. So again, another web developer, which is something you'll see a pattern with a lot of web developers having very creative portfolios. But his website actually looks like it was made using a website builder, which is pretty interesting. Or he actually just used Squarespace, which would make sense as well. But it's a website that's, while very effective and clearly professional, something that you can get out of a template, and it would be just as effective and allow you to have some of this creativity, like this cool background that he probably made as well. So here he has a little video about himself, and obviously just a brief description of what he does. He gets right to the point saying he's a Squarespace developer, and then obviously throws in a little bit of personality by saying he's a coffee enthusiast to add a little bit of fun to his portfolio. He goes into his passion and then a little bit more about me, which is again a good way to add that personality and flair to your portfolio. And then he goes right into what he's kind of done here, his contact, his courses, his work. And he again goes for a grid-based system, which is simple yet effective. It gets the job done while showing off everything he's worked on and highlights everything he'd like to show. And then finally, he has some of his latest work as well, which we've kind of seen from some of the other portfolios, highlighting their key projects and then their latest work or some of their smaller aspects as well. And for students, you could kind of supplement this section with your work experience, or like we said, your extracurricular activities, which a lot of these people working in the industry wouldn't really need to include. But for students, or again, people looking for co-op or other things, it's a really good thing to include those extracurriculars instead of a section like this, to really highlight, like we said, your personality, and to have those job relevant extracurriculars that can really set you aside and help you stand out for your applications and interviews. Armin, do you want to add anything here about the blog or anything else that you thought was interesting?
So I really like actually the way he started off his website with his video, which actually showcased again, I think we saw in another website as well, his development process. Because if you look at the video closely, he has himself drawing out things, adjusting sliders on websites and stuff, just to showcase the way he develops things. And I think the projects he's listed out again in a grid-based format kind of nicely work in his favor to showcase his best work as well. I think he's also got some kind of a shop. I think he teaches online courses, so he's got like a shop up there with his cart and everything, which if once you get an experience and you want to start selling something, also is a great way to add something. That's a nice touch. But yeah, I think that's everything from me.
Yeah. So those were all of the portfolios that we really liked, and we just like to thank everyone for attending the GDSC's portfolio event, and we hope you're able to learn something valuable from it. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them now, and you can just ask them in chat or even turn on your microphones and ask us.